Life is like a chessboard. Every move we make can lead us to victory or defeat. Sometimes, beyond the most glorious victory, defeat reveals hidden treasures within us. That's why we should not lament that Yaman didn't leave Turkey, but instead be proud to see him here, on our stage, in our home. His presence has shown since the very first moment in front of the cameras. With his role in Erkenci Early Bird, Yaman won millions of hearts. Then, with Dolunay, he gained admirers not only in Turkey, but also in places as far as Albania, Brazil, Italy, and Mexico. His performance not only broke the mold of good roles, but also showed with his energy, naturalness, and acting talent that the Turkish TV industry could become a global brand. However, in this journey, there is still one more step to take to continue his career without setting limits while his heart continues to beat for Turkey. Sometimes losing is better than winning. The phrase, "sometimes it's better to lose than to find," is a sort of manifesto. Just like the great philosophers and artists who after their failures created more mature and deeper works, Yaman should also illuminate his path without forcing boundaries, feeding on his roots. By staying in Turkey, he can continue developing projects that will take him to the international market while preserving his inner world without losing the sincerity that comes from his origins. Let's not forget that sometimes we can learn to fly without leaving the nest. Behind every great artist, there is a powerful support network. But the balance between sincerity and interest is like an invisible sword. There comes a time when it's hard to distinguish friends from enemies. Yaman's experience on Italian sets taught him discipline and adherence to international production standards. But in foreign geography, there's always more than meets the eye. Seeing what happens behind the scenes, relationships between agencies, and the intentions behind the so-called handshakes is as important as talent on stage. That's why it's essential to know both friends and enemies well, and never forget that behind every offer may lie a trap. International success is so vast that it can't be understood from just one country. It's necessary to learn the language, culture, and codes of that geography. His adventure in Italy didn't just teach him a new language, but also provided him with a unique experience about audience expectations, production processes, and media dynamics. However, every country has its own sociocultural codes. The romantic atmosphere of Italy and the passionate narrative of Spain may not fully align with the sincerity and loyalty of Turkey. Therefore, before taking on projects abroad, it's advisable to prepare carefully. Like an eagle rising from the ashes, he must rise from a certain height and land safely. Shining on the international stage is not as easy as shining in Turkey. A new language, a different path for international agencies, unfamiliar legal processes. Each of these is a struggle in itself. Sometimes there are disappointments, sudden cancellations, and unexpected obstacles. But every time may torno si tura, returning and saying, "I didn't fail, I was just in a different stage of the journey," is a true act of bravery. So far, Yaman's endurance, determination, and most importantly, the faith of his fans have become his greatest source of motivation. We do not leave Turkey. Being a favorite of the stage means growing without losing the love of his people. We do not leave Turkey. Being a favorite of the stage means growing without losing the love of his people. Yaman has been a guest in the homes of millions with his series in Turkey. He has brought smiles to every house and joy to every balcony. So, how does one leave behind this love and let oneself be carried away by the winds of new lands? Of course, the goal of international success broadens one's vision, but the main source remains our roots. If he could find a way to reach a global audience without leaving Turkey, he could fly freely both in his homeland and elsewhere, like a bird with two wings. And now, dear Yaman, reading these words, don't forget the voice of this fan. Your success is your story. Every step you take, every breath you make is your own work. This work was born in Turkey. It was nurtured by Turkey. Who knows? Maybe one day the moment of a worthy loss will be the key that leads you to even greater success. Or maybe the wind blowing from the Bosphorus in Istanbul will inspire the breeze on the streets of Rome. No matter if you're at home or abroad, always remember your Turkish heart, your courage, and your faith. Final word, sometimes it's better to lose than to find, because what we learn from what we lose is much more valuable than what we gain. With the prayer of a fan who wrote these lines, may your path be clear, your efforts abundant, and your heart courageous. Turkey welcomed you, the world recognized you. Now, it's your turn to maintain the balance and write your most glorious ending here and there. Remember, the real victory is walking without losing your compass. Demet Özdemir has been one of the most fascinating figures on Turkish television in recent years. Her career has grown exponentially and her presence on screens has been undeniable. Since starting her career in the entertainment industry, Demet has managed to position herself as one of the most important actresses, not only in Turkey, but also internationally, thanks to her talent, charisma, and the incredible chemistry she has shown with her co-stars, especially Yaman. However, while her success is evident, her personal life and relationship with fame have been constantly the subject of controversy and speculation. From my point of view, Demet Özdemir is one of those personalities who seems capable of connecting with the audience in a very genuine way. It is not hard to notice how, over the years, she has cultivated a loyal fan base that supports her at every step of her career. Despite rumors and divided opinions about her love life, she has always maintained a delicate balance between her personal and professional life. This ability to separate both worlds is, for many of her fans, one of her greatest virtues. Unlike other actors and actresses who get swept away by fame and become the center of all gossip, Demet has managed to maintain a public image that, while always under the eye of the storm, is never overshadowed by scandals. However, there are those who question certain aspects of her behavior and how she interacts with the public and the media. The comments on social media, as mentioned earlier, have not been few, and some believe that Demet has a somewhat distant attitude even when it comes to sharing details about her personal life. This behavior for some may be seen as an attempt to maintain the mystery surrounding her figure, while for others it may be perceived as a way to protect herself from others' expectations. Personally, I think her reserve and the way she handles rumors about her relationship with Yaman is a clear demonstration of her ability to protect her personal space, even if this same attitude may raise more questions than answers. Personally, I think her reserve and the way she handles rumors about her relationship with Yaman is a clear demonstration of her ability to protect her personal space, even if this same attitude may raise more questions than answers.